Greetings and welcome to your Oracle message for the day. I am Kat Morgan and I welcome you to this video, to this channel, and to this space. This is a timeless reading for the collective, so whenever you come across this video, however you come across it, it's the right time for you to be getting this message. And we've been going through our mega deck. You can look down in the description below for more information on that. But today's card is pulled from Kyle Gray's Gateway of Light Activation Oracle deck, and it is the Orion activation representing supernova. That's a lot of energy. Supernova, recreation, renewal, and rebirthed by light. And I will just tell you before we look in the book, and we will look in the book and see what the reading says for us from the book for today. But before we do that, I always want to get the most information, as many messages as possible, as much information, energy reading as possible from the card itself, from the image, from the words that have been chosen to be put on the card itself. So Orion, we are very familiar with. Let's just do a brief background on that. Orion is a prominent set of stars that's visible during winter in the northern hemisphere, the northern planetary hemisphere on Earth. It is one of the 88 modern constellations, and we could go on forever about the numbers on this. It was among the 48 constellations listed by Ptolemy from the 2nd century. It's named after a hunter in Greek mythology. That's Orion. He is the hunter. It's one of the most obvious and recognizable constellations in the sky. 2 of the 10 brightest stars in the sky are located in the Orion constellation, Rigel and Betelgeuse. Don't say that 3 times, right? In addition to newborn stars, which the Orion constellation is known for being a baby star birther. It's a mommy constellation. It is constantly producing new stars, but in addition to newborn stars, Orion also has some other awesome cosmic objects hanging around. Scientists have discovered exoplanets orbiting stars there. One of those planets is a gas giant world, 3 times more massive than Jupiter. So what's the mythology of Orion? Orion in Greek mythology was a giant, was a giant and a very handsome hunter who was identified as early as Homer in the Iliad with the constellation known by his name. When I'm looking at the image on this card, I really see, all of the cards in this book in particular are all oracle cards. They're all gateway, obviously. It's the title of the deck. They are gateway activation cards. And I can literally see not just the stars in this portal in the center, right? But the actual portal itself, I feel like it's actually Orion birthing all of those stars. I feel like that's the actual nebula where all the stars are constantly being reborn and renewed all the time. There's also this pool of water down in the bottom that the doorway is actually going through. You could look at it like the river Styx, where you're making that passage from one form of life to another form of life with this renewal, this rebirthing by light. This is a very, very interesting energy. We've been talking about transformation, and so it's no surprise these cards continue to come up regardless of which deck they've been pulled from. We are being not just encouraged or invited, we are being directed. We are being advised that this is our path, that we are to be rebirthing in the light. And with this channel, the other thing that I noticed really strongly is it reminds me very much of the Osirian, however you want to pronounce it. I'm probably butchering it and I apologize. But that's an ancient megalithic structure that's located in Abydos, at the rear of the mortuary temple of Seti I. Its original purpose is still unknown. It's an integral part of the Seti I's funeral complex. It was originally built at a considerably lower level than the foundations of the temple. With its atypical architectural style and its mythological context, there is disagreement as to its true age. And they've usually been using it, like they date a lot of the stuff in Egypt by the cartouches, which are dedicated to Seti I. So they're using that as the best known way to date the Osirian, but nobody knows for sure. Also, the site contains a stone-paved island in the center, chambers in both wings, and around the island a water basin of yet undetermined but no less than 10.4 meters depth. Scientists are still unable to determine how or why this pressurized water continues to flow into the structure. They just don't know. They have their guesses. They can kind of identify what different types, and there's 3 different types of water in the Osirian, coming from 3 different sources, and they cannot figure out. It's pressurized. One of the scientists said it's like a water pipe that's been busted open, and it's just spewing out water. It's actually pressurized. It's not just groundwater seeping up into a lower level. That's not it. And it's not built on bedrock. It's sand. And sand doesn't pressurize. It's porous. So they can't figure it out. It's completely unknown to them. And I find it fascinating. I kind of find it amusing that with everything we know, with all of our scientific gadgets, with AI and LiDAR and all of that stuff, there's still things that we don't know the answer to. It's magic, right? Anything that we can't identify is magic. Technology that is unknown is considered magic. And in my personal opinion, I think there are things that we are just never going to be able to know the answers to. They're always going to be magic. And that's as it should be. So supernovas, yes. Supernova usually happens when a star is dying or transforming, literally, from one form of energy to another form of energy. So this is the opportunity to kind of blow up anything in your life, anything that you identify with or have identified with previously as being a part of you. You're the person that can never say no to a Reese's peanut butter pickup, or you're the person who can, never navigate through traffic without getting angry at drivers, or you're the person who, fill in the blank. If you've been identifying as that person in your past up until this point, this is your invitation to supernova that. You don't need to identify with things that limit you. And all of that type of stuff is all limiting, it's constricting, it makes you feel pressurized in a completely unhelpful way. We want to be, if we're going to be pressurized into acting for our good, acting in the energy of love and peace and joy, not anger and fear and frustration. So, yes, recreation. The word is, English is a horrible language, I think, because it also is recreation, like being able to play and have fun and stuff like that. And I think when I look at the stars, I feel like they're being very playful, and Sirius, Orion is no exception. Those stars twinkling in the night, we know how that twinkle happens. That's an atmospheric condition. But stars are also, their brightness is constantly changing. They don't have, it's not like a light bulb that you turn it on and it's a constant light quotient. That's not it at all. It's constantly changing. And I feel like they're playing. I don't get any kind of sense of doom or gloom when I look at the stars. I look at them and I feel joyful. I feel liberated. And I think that's what our definition of recreation should be. It is also recreation, as in recreating. Once we supernova, what are we going to become? What are we turning into? What are we renewing into? Some things are, we want to renew our sense of wonder. We want to renew our sense of awe, our sense of just imagination. That's what I'm getting, a strong sense from this card of firing up our imaginations, of seeing beyond what we normally think of as our limits. We don't have limits. We are unlimited. We are part of this universal creation in our reality. We don't have limits. We don't have any more limits than the rest of the universe does. The universe is unlimited, and so are we. So are you. So let's take a look in the book and find out what the reading says for us for today for Orion activation, representing supernova, recreation, renewal, and being rebirthed by light. Orion is one of the best known constellations in the night sky. Its name is Greek for hunter, and its stars can be seen as a figure with a sword accompanied by a dog, and that's serious. At the center of the constellation, 3 stars, Alnitak, Analam, and Mintaka, appear in a belt-like formation. To the south of Orion's belt, there's a nebula that has revealed much about how stars and planetary systems are formed. The best way to describe this space is as a star nursery. During a star's evolutionary stages, it explodes into a supernova, which provides the perfect space for a new star to be born. The Orion constellation is home to a number of higher beings, many of whom are dedicated to the evolution of our planet. Even though the idea of the constellation being a hunter may make it seem highly feminine, its energies are in fact similar to those of the Lemurians, and its inhabitants therefore honor all beings. The beings of Orion are, in fact, sacred space holders who help all of those with star power and star potential to make the changes required to become the most ascended and aware form of themselves. Connecting with the energy of this card. Find Orion in the night sky or connect with its image online. And then say, "Great wise ones of Orion, thank you for supporting my recreation and renewal. I am ready to shine like a star." Your message. All of your fears and setbacks are being stripped away from your energy now. It is essential for your old way of being to fall away and for you to go through a process of renewal in order to move forward. The old stories of your life aren't yours to live anymore. You are far greater than these limiting experiences. The beings of Orion are surrounding you now, and they see you as one of them. Someone who has been born with the knowledge that they can live with great purpose and make a real difference in the world, whether on a global scale or in a particular corner of the planet. When you get this card in a reading, you are being reminded that you have infinite star potential. Well, yes, you do. Amen, 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 Salah, so be it. We make it so. We make it star. Hey, you star, you are pure potential, just waiting to be birthed, rebirthed, renewed, recreated. So it can feel scary, that explosive energy can feel, truly frightening sometimes. We are creatures that want to be in control of the process of what's going on. We want to understand what's happening. And sometimes we just don't. Sometimes we just don't have the information. We don't have the answers. The information and answers are there available for us always within. We can always tap into that wisdom, that experience through the Akashic records, through our higher selves, through our connection with divine energy and the universe as a whole. And then our quantum connection to each other. So that information is always available to us, but we may not always have access to it. We may not have the right vibration, really, to be able to match it at this point, at this time. So if you have questions about this this experience that you're going through, where you feel like you're being kind of shattered into, exploded into something completely different, it's that butterfly coming out of the chrysalis. It's not a peaceful transition necessarily. There's a lot of energy. So it's kind of like being on that boat and kind of, it's not a stormy sea, but it's a very, there's a high wind. The waves are high as well. And your boat feels kind of little. You feel kind of small in all of that crazy energy. But you've got a strong boat. You've got a strong sail. Your mast is very strong and steady. And so is your rudder, your tiller, the way that you are steering your vessel through this world, through this experience, through this life. So, yes, you don't have to be afraid. If you're looking for information, ask. And then be sure that you sit quietly for just a moment. You only need like maybe 60 seconds to start getting the information, but we need to have that space within our minds, within our thoughts, within our emotions, that's kind of blank, kind of quiet, so that we can hear those messages coming to us from our divine higher selves, from our spirit guides, from our angel teams, from everybody, from everything. Okay, so don't fear. You have unlimited star potential. You are a being of infinite star potential. So however you are making your difference in the world, shine on, baby. You are brilliant. You are beautiful. You are strong. You are powerful. You are brilliant. Shine on like the star that you are. So that is our reading for the day. I do hope that it blessed and resonated with you. If you're still with us and you haven't already liked and or subscribed to the video and or channel, it helps the YouTube algorithm help other people find these videos and find the channel. I don't get any money from it. It's never going to be a monetized channel. And eventually I'm going to have the option of turning off the ads. And as soon as I can do that, I will be doing that for sure. So thank you again for joining us. Have the most amazing, fantastic day. Namaste and ciao for now.